Hey guys, it's Ravenhawk6910 reporting once again. After taking about a week hiatus, I'm back with a new video, and as you can see, I has a box. And in this box, I has something that I've secretly wanted pretty much since I was a kid, looking through model railroad books and magazines and catalogs. But it was one of those things that was way too expensive for my parents or even me, with an allowance, could even hope to buy. So I found one the other day online for a relatively good price that wouldn't break the bank, and I grabbed it immediately. So let's slice this puppy open. And I figured you guys would like an unboxing video because I don't do them very often. So let's just go ahead and do it. So I'm very excited to get this item in, and I think you guys are going to like this too. This is very different compared to some other things that I have done in recent years on YouTube. So there's the bubble wrap. Good little pop. There's the payment slip, which that's all good. And if I can get it opened here, a little bit of spoilers of where this came from. Yeah. And you may have even seen what it was in the description there, but you know what? I don't care. Let's go ahead and get this opened. Get the rest of the wrapping out. They wrapped this thing really good, and oh my goodness. Okay, box be gone. Here we go, here we go. More bubble wrap, I can probably reuse that. And here we go, it's getting smaller and smaller. And one more layer of bubble wrap to get through. Let me go ahead and peel off that. But this is a very small piece, which indicates that this is, in fact, in scale. So, here we go. Overland Models Amtrak P42DC. So here we go. Having a little trouble with the foam. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to gently get this out of the case. And unwrap it. Oh, wow. And there it is. Look at that. Solid brass Genesis unit. Tell me that ain't pretty. That is super sharp, and it's got good heft to it because it's made out of solid brass, of course. The details on it are exquisite, as you would expect from a brass manufacturer. So I'm going to actually take this thing outside so we can see this thing in better lighting instead of just here in my living room. So let's take a quick snap and head outside. And here we are outside. And I'm currently sitting out here at the Dalton Freight Depot, so forgive me if there's any background noise. I've got the speaker for the radio right above my head, so if there's any noise, I do apologize for that. But here we go. The Overland Models P42DC. So I know a lot of you are thinking right now, Raven, why would you want this? Well, back when I was a kid, when I was but a wee little lad, one of the things I used to love to do is go through model train catalogs and magazines. And I had a specific issue of InScale magazine back in the day, which always featured Overland Models ads.
You used to see these all in like Model Railroader and some of the one-off magazines. Again, In Scale being one of them. And at the time, the P42 and the Genesis series in general was being advertised in those ads. And I always loved the ads. I thought they were cool. They were always black and white. So you never got to see the color, but you could just imagine what those beautiful trains in the pictures looked like. And I knew that I wanted an in-scale Amtrak P42. But of course, being brass, it was so expensive back then that I couldn't afford one. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't have any income whatsoever. And my parents certainly weren't going to chuck out the money for a brass model anyways, because, let's face it, a kid shouldn't be in possession of something as valuable as a brass model in the first place, because they do cost a lot of money, and they have good resale value. But can you imagine if a kid who didn't know how to take care of one of these got a hold of one? Ugh. So I never got one. So the other day, I was looking around on the internet, and one of the places I like to go to quite often is brasstrains.com, and they have a very large selection of brass trains that you can look at in several scales. And curiosity got the best of me. I'm like, you know what? I wonder if that engine is available right now. And sure enough, it was. And it was for a price that I could afford. It was actually just a little over $260, which for this model is pretty good. Not super expensive. Now, it just is straight DC. There's no sound, no command control, but to me, that's okay. I don't really need that in a model like this. So I went ahead and bought it. And this is the first major piece of brass that I've bought for my collection in several years. I do have a few brass pieces in HO. I don't have any in O scale. But this is my first in-scale piece of brass. And Overland Models is such a fantastic company. The detail that they put on these models is exquisite. Again, considering this model was put out in 1998, the detail is just amazing. Look back here on the back, for example. Let's see, let me adjust the camera here. Look at that. There's a coupler cut bar back there. Coupler cut bars, MU cables. You've got colors on the various plugs back here. The steps are really nicely detailed, so are the trucks, which actually have working, I say working, we're too small of a scale to have working stuff. Separately attached, I mean, sand lines that go down to the trucks. The fuel tank is nicely done. You can see the air tanks on the bottom here. And the front truck is the same thing. The builder's plate here could be a little better done, in my opinion. But within scale, it's such a small size, you're not going to be able to really read that anyways, unless you have a magnifying glass. So that's not really a major loss. The front of the engine, as you can see, is really nicely done. Again, MU hoses. Snowplow, there's grab irons behind the snowplow. You've got the ditch lights and the marker lights, as well as the headlight, which has the glass cover over it, like early Genesis models did, before they were all removed during rebuild. The grills are also really good on this model. There's a small one right here by the side of the cab. It's got clear plastic inserts in the windows, separately applied windshield wipers. Now, the one thing is that some of the residue from the glue that was used to put the windows in has leaked through which unfortunately that is a bit of a common thing I see with these engines, but it doesn't deter from the model as a whole, so I'm not that worried about it. Here's some more grille work up here on the top, and there's actually legible signage on the roof of the engine, as you can see. There's the horn, the signature K5LA. More grills. Here's the Amtrak logo right here. The grills here on the side near the radiator section. The radiator fan up on the roof, as well as the exhaust stack. There's some separately applied handrails on all of the doors, on both the front and the back, as you can see. So yeah, this model is just really, really cool. I like this thing a lot. And as you guys know, it's Amtrak, and I'm a sucker for Amtrak stuff. But this sort of is an end of the end of the line right here as far as this story goes. I remember this one video that I had growing up talking about model train layouts, is that you have to be an adult to have all the toys that you wanted to have when you were a kid. And in this case, this is definitely true, although this certainly is no toy by any means. But you definitely had to be an adult to have this. So I'm so glad that adult me was able to satisfy the child in me in this case and grab this locomotive, because this is such a beautiful model. Yes, P42s and Genesis series locomotives in general are cheaper these days because you have the great ones that Kato makes in N-scale. But there's just something nice about a brass model, you know, because a lot of the stuff is all of the stuff really is hand applied. I mean, it's so beautiful, and I love it. So I would like to add more brass to my collection eventually, but brass is sort of a side hobby for me anyways, so I only add pieces maybe once every 4 or 5 years, it seems, because this is the first piece I got since I got that Northwest Short Line Southern Railway 4-unit hopper back in 2014. But I think I did well with this piece, and I really like it a lot. And I hope to show you guys videos of this running. I don't have any in-scale track or a power supply for it. However, I do know someone who does, so I hopefully will be able to show videos of it running on their setup. So stay tuned for that and we'll see what happens. But in-scale, Overland Models, Amtrak 98 P42DC. Really, really cool model, and such a great piece to put into my collection. So I just had to show this to you guys, and I love it. This thing is just so cool. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video and down the road. This is Ravenhawk 6910 signing off.